Hey there. Can you all hear me? Oh, wait, you probably hear me twice. Now it's better. All right, welcome everyone. Not a big attendance right now, but that doesn't really matter. I'm here for you, whoever this is, and yeah, I thought I haven't streamed for quite a while, and I thought I'm always trying to find like a great time for streaming, and for some reason I never do. So I thought, what the hell? Let's just start streaming, and we'll see where we get. Today I want to play with Replay, and I really want to show you a little bit about what it can do, and I want to do this kind of streams more often because it's a real cool tool, but it's best to see it in action. I'm writing a documentation right now, adding lots of new docs, and it's a real challenge to put something like this, a tool like Replay, into a written document. And I'm using a lot of visuals because there's a lot of things that are like better shown than told. I want to, as I mentioned, I want to do this more often. So let me just start. Let's see if I can screen share, and it seems I can. So this is great. I've been working on some of the Cypress flakiness debug examples. That's like a project of mine that I want to share with the world because there are tests can get flaky at any time, any point, and when they do, it's usually sort of hard to find out what's the cause, what's the problem with that. So I created a couple of mini applications that have different kind of flakes with them, and today I want to work on this customer subscriptions application, which I believe should already be installed here, hopefully. And should I can do change directory to customer subscriptions and npm run dev, hopefully. Is it running? Seems that way. All right, let's open the browser and see what's going on in here. Localhost. All right, good. So this is like a fake customer subscriptions page, and this page basically it will show some customers, and you can click on one, see when the subscription was activated. You can close that window. If they're on trial, then you can activate a subscription, close that. And the thing it does, it's kind of funny because every time you refresh that, it's going to show you different data. And this is a challenge in testing because sometimes we have situations where we don't really have the data in control. I think that's especially the case for situations when we have e-commerce stores. I've been testing in e-commerce stores recently. You don't really have data in control, which is kind of challenging because Cypress, the way it's been created, sort of expects you to go like from development and have sort of everything in control. They have create intercept command, which can take control of like the whole network layer, and it's pretty awesome. But sometimes it's hard to do that with like more complex projects. For example, like the e-commerce store. So let's jump in and let's write a test for this one. And I'm going to create one. I think I already did create one for this. Yeah, so, oh yeah, okay, so I have a test here, I have a random item, and then I just randomly click, and I want to click on activate subscription. I guess that's it. So let's change directory to custom description, and let's do npx cypress open in this project. Can I snap my window? No, I cannot. Okay, never mind. Let's do this. All right, let's make it a little smaller so it's visible enough. All right. All right, so now when I run this, I'm going to get into a problem because the number that I have created is actually 6, and there's no item number 6 in this one. So I guess the test is not really written properly, because it will say random item will be anything between 1 and 7, or 0 and 7. I believe this is, yeah, I think so. So, well, yeah, this is quite a flaky test, but sometimes it works. Look at it. You can see that, yeah, we have 6 items. I've clicked on the 6th one actually, because we're numbering from 0, and then funnily enough, it was a inactive subscription, so I clicked on that thing. So that works. All right. Okay, now what I want to do is, I think I have a replay integration set up for this. Do I? It seems so. Yeah, I have replay.io support. Yeah, everything seems to be set up correctly. I think this actually should be replay plugin. If we are working with the latest version, which I'm not sure we are. Let's update that just to be sure. So let's do npm install latest. That's all right. And usually what I do, I have this workflows. So I'm going to copy this and create another workflow. Ooh, 9k changes, I think. Oh shoot, I wasn't in the right folder. All right, let me remove node modules. Yeah. And let me just copy this. I'll add a new workflow that's going to be called customer subscriptions. And let's call it customer subscription project. Check out, I think there's version 5.4, and GitHub Action, there's already version 6. So let's try the latest and greatest. We got some secrets set up, we got GitHub token. There's a new action, 0.5.1. And I'm just going to use this API key, which is going to make a mess of my API keys, but I don't really care right now. So let's just do this, and let's do this on push, because I want to see this action happen. So let's delete these 2 items which I have accidentally added. Let's do cd customer subscriptions and do the install latest version of Cypress Replay. All right, do we have everything's set up properly. Do I need to update anything more? Does not seem that way. We got Cypress 13, which is great. I think we are good. I don't want to update anything else. So, oh yeah, let's update this also. Customer subscriptions. And let's add that over here as well. Records true. Do I want to record actually? I don't think I do. No, let's not. Let's just delete this. We're not running it in parallel, so I don't think we will need that. Replay Chromium. All right. Oh, group. I don't want a group. That would fail. Localhost. All right. Let's see if everything is working. All right, I changed my project configuration, so that has restarted the thing. But I think we're good. All right, so let's commit this and push. Let's do add customer subscriptions project, and let's push that. I'm using VS Code to push stuff sometimes. I know that's super weird, super frowned upon, but it's just there. It's convenient. I think so. I don't know. Maybe it's not. All right, so let's go to GitHub. Go to the Cypress. Where are my repos? Flakiness debug examples, and let's see if there's an action running. Good, we have an action running. All right. So this ideally should, so let me zoom in. So the way I have set up this YAML file is the way you would set up stuff if you want to run your test and also add your recordings. So I'm currently writing documentation on this, by the way, but the setting up Cypress with Replay is actually quite easy. The most of it is pretty standard stuff, something you would have with all of your Cypress GitHub integration actions. But there's this browser, Replay Chromium, which of course it's not coming out of the box. It's something you need to set up in your project, but you're passing a browser Replay Chromium, right? I'm running a local server, working directories, customer subscription, so that's like all standard. And there's an extra step where we would upload the replays, and we need an API key to do that. So that's the extra step. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. And as I mentioned, we are passing Replay Chromium, so in order to have that, we need to add a package JSON. We have package JSON. We need to install Replay Cypress package, so that's the plugin, and then integrate it into the Cypress project. So Cypress config Replay plugin. That's it. We need to add that to the setup node events, and then in Cypress support, we need to require the support file of for the project. Pretty standard stuff in terms of like integrating with Cypress plugins. So that's pretty much all you need to do in order to add it to the pipeline. Now currently, the awesome team at Replay is working at sort of auto recording your steps. Now I'm not really 100% clear yet on the details of how that's going to work. But apparently, I think you might be able to skip this step. Not yet sure, but when it's out, you're definitely going to know. So yeah, all right. So here's the extra step. Here's the upload replays. Our test has failed. So this is good. We have something to debug. And now, upload failed. Oh shoot, why? Connection has not been authenticated. All right, maybe I don't have the proper key in my environment. It seems so. We actually got 3 attempts, so that's great. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to go to app replay and take a look at the Flakes API keys. Oh shoot, I have actually, okay, yeah, I have actually deleted my API key, so that's what happened. Yeah, while I was writing documentation, I deleted my API key. So let's do it once again. Cypress Flakes. Going to copy that key, and I'm not showing that to you because it's an API key. It should be secret. So that's why you don't see me doing stuff right now. But I'll just add it. If you're curious how to add API key into GitHub project, is usually found somewhere in here, secrets and variables, and you want to add actions, and then you want to add your keys. So as you can see, I have a couple of those. If I want to add a new one, I'll add a new repository secret. If I don't have a new one, then I'll just go with this one. All right, so let's do that, and let's actually, I'm going to put it as so I need to use my phone. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. We should be good. And this is still running. Let's just cancel that. I'm going to do a couple of changes and just rename this key because I have added as a record replay API key. And what else? I thought there was something else I wanted to do. What did I want to do? I guess maybe that's all. Maybe that's all. Oh, I'm quite, sun has come up and now my face is all white. All right, I think that's it. Did I forget anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Anyway, let's push it. Update a record key. All right, let's do that. Let's push and see what's going on. Okay. All right, let's jump in here. Actions. Update record key. So hopefully now we're going to get to recording. Our Cypress tests are running. They're probably going to be very flaky, and then we're going to be debugging those tests. And that's what I want to show you. I want to walk around a little bit around the replay interface and show you how you can debug a Cypress test. By the way, my voice is like really weird right now. I have my tea with me because I'm like almost sick. I'm not sick. I'm feeling okay-ish, good enough to work, but not really good enough to sing. So I'm not going to do that today. Anyway, say hello in the chat if you like. I see there are some people gathered since I started, which is nice. I'm not talking to a cave. I'm talking to people now. That's good. All right. It seems our tests are passing. Oh, but there were retries. That's good. Let me show you. All right. So here we have all specs passed, upload replays. Seems that we have finished that. And look, we can view our replay at app replay.io. Okay. So here it is. Oh, hey, Jalpesh. How are you? Not sure if I pronounced your name correctly. I always struggle with that. I think that's one day this is going to become a meme. of me trying to pronounce different names. Well, my name is also kind of difficult to pronounce, especially for my American friends. But I don't mind, so hopefully you don't mind as well. All right, so this is the view we get with Replay. So I'm right in the spec, but if you integrate your tests with Replay, you actually get this like dashboard overview. Now, currently I only have one run in here, but if I had like multiple runs, I could take a look into those, examine how many tests were flaky, how many have failed, etc. And I have a failed test here, so let's take a look. Yeah, I'm doing great. Doing great. A little bit under the weather, but overall it's good. Okay, so here we have I think this is this is a flaky test. We have attempt number 1, we have attempt number 2, and then finally we have the successful attempt. So here down here there's a timeline we can sort of walk through. We can even play this like a video, so because it's actually it is a video, right? So we can take a look into what's happening. It opens the app, loading, tries to test something, then fails miserably, then tries again, fails again, and then finally it'll load again. Bam. That was a split second of how that went, but finally it has worked. So what we want to do, this is wrongly named test. It doesn't log in the user, but it tries to activate the subscription. So that's a mistake on my part. So yeah, let's jump into that. So here in the Replay, you would have your usuals. You would have your commands, everything that the test was doing, and then also the details of each and every command. So if I have like a button that contains activate subscription, I have the details of what this command has yielded. And really cool, I can touch on this little target icon, and that's going to take me to the DevTools panel. So we actually have two panels, Viewer and DevTools. Viewer is like a general overview of what the test was doing, but DevTools is where you really make a deep dive. And in here we have like a normal DevTools kind of things going on. So for example, I have my Elements panel, I have a Network panel through which I can, where I can look into what was happening during this attempt, and I have a React panel, so I can take a look into the different React components. I have my console. There's a lot. So this is like a really powerful tool, and I'm still just like only discovering what everything it can do. I know, right? I'm supposed to be DevRel for Replay. I'm doing my best, but there's just so much to learn. So yeah, let's dive in. So for example, let's take a look into something, right? Let's just walk around this application, go to the Elements panel, take a look, for example, at this active subscription button, and here we have like everything that we would have in the UI mode, right? Because in the UI mode, when we are writing tests, usually we do npx Cypress open, and then we have our browser, and with the browser we get like all of the powers of the DevTools, which is awesome. This is why we love Cypress. Oops. This is why we love Cypress, right? This is why it's super cool to like see it in action. Now, here we have different CSS rules and stuff like that. And this exactly can be really useful if you want to like dig around and see what the state of your DOM was at a certain point in time. So even in stages like in between commands or while you were waiting, if I would have a CY wait in my test, I could take a look not only to the beginning and the end state, but I could travel through the timeline at any point of time, because this is actually like time based. So, but I do have the before and after states. So those are time stamped, and I can take a look at the before and after state if I need to. The network panel, of course, like contains everything. But I think what's really interesting is this console, because it is actually a live console, right? So if I'm at this point of my application, I can go. Wait, what can I do? I did something funky recently. I would go like document and get element by ID. Let's do get element. No, I think it's get by query. So get query element by class name. I think there's, what's the query? Oh, query selector, that's it. So for example, when I have this activate subscription and I know this element has a certain ID, I think it has like a data ID, or doesn't it? Oh, actually not. I think I added a data test element, but I didn't. Never mind. But yeah, what I wanted to show, like I can do DOM query selector and, for example, I don't know, use a class text bold, right? And just select an element by text bold. Or is it font bold? No, text XL. Does it find anything? It doesn't. Let me find an element that I can actually find. Let's do button. Document query selector and do button. Wait, why doesn't it find a button? Am I not using the right query selector? Let's do document get element by tag name. Let's do button. There must be some buttons here, right? We got unknown. That doesn't sound right to me. I think there might be something wrong. Hopefully not. I don't know. But way of using that to find selectors, because you don't really have to, because you have this elements panel which can find anything for you. But I wanted to demonstrate that and failed miserably. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. I have accidentally triggered this comments panel. So let's say you are in a team and you want to take a look into a certain flake. Let's actually switch this to the failed test. And let's say I'm part of a QA team, as you usually are, and I want to take a look into a failed test, and I want to examine, hey, something is wrong, and I want to actually do a debug session with a colleague. So what I can do is I can add a comment at any point in here. So for example, if I want to add a comment in here and say like only one active subscription, then that comment is going to get stamped into this replay. So whenever I share it with someone, that's going to be there. So it's like a Google Docs meets a test reporter. So that's pretty nice already. And I think I showed this in one of the previous live streams, that this is a test suites integration, which is sweet, but you can actually use replay sort of manually. You can just hit a record button and then start recording your application. And if you have a bug which you already kind of have narrowed down and you want to annotate that or do something, or just basically get a good reproducible example captured, then you can do recording even manually. But with the recording of the test suites, I think that's really the game changer. I think that's like really valuable. So yeah, and comments are a big part of that. The Cypress version I'm using, I believe what I did is, I think it was Cypress version, I don't know which one was that. Let me take a look. Cypress version 13.2. So I'm not on the latest. I think the latest came out like 2 days ago or something like that. 13.4, I believe. Something like that. I don't remember. But just remember, like this interface, this is not Cypress. This is actually Replay.io. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend that. It's Replay.io. It's a way of integrating. The thing I'm showing here is like integrating Replay.io with Cypress, which I think works just great together. And I feel this really like takes the debugging experience into a whole another level. Because I've been talking about how to, I don't know, like how to set up your test and do this and do that in Cypress. But in my day-to-day job, I would often like spend quite a lot of time debugging my tests, and I didn't really have a really good answer into like how to approach your debugging. But now I feel with Replay, you can kind of do it very effectively. And I'm just like hitting the surface here, right? We went through the elements panel, we went through the console panel, but we have things like React panel, which I still am like not 100% familiar with, but the overall idea is this: like this is application written in React, and with React and also with some other frameworks, you have like this components, right? So you have a root component, and in that components you have a bunch of other components, and basically every part of your application is like a small Lego block which like builds the whole thing. And that Lego block is called component. And you can actually do component testing in Cypress, which is like really cool thing you can do. But what I'm pointing out here in this React panel is that you can examine each and every component in your application. So if you have a state, right? If this subscription list had like 4 items, I can take a look into this state that's right over here. So there are a couple of things in here. Let me make this slightly bigger so you can see that better. But here we have like 4 items, and it always has like a first name, last name, and then an email and some certain status like trial. But if we take a look at the component, we can see that there's a little more information in there. Especially there's this ID or this UUID, which usually is not shown anywhere. The best chance you might get with seeing this information is like it coming through the network. So there would be like an API endpoint that will retrieve this information, and then your front end will handle that information. But this state can actually have multiple other things as well. For example, things that are not like data related, but are state related. The example of that might be, I think I might find something here. Oh yeah, modal. So there's this modal window, which when I click on any of these items, it will show a modal window. And this modal window has different states. It has a state that's turned on and turned off. And shucks, we couldn't load the component details. So not sure what's up with that. But subscription list modal, maybe because I don't see the modal. I'm not sure. We can, yeah. Let's actually take a look into what that is. Oh, here it is. It has loaded. Maybe that was just a temporary problem. All right, so here it is. Here's like a is open false, right? So this is something we have here, and we can take a look into. Now, of course, things like modal is open false, we can see if it's opened or not. But there might be some very intricate bug that would say is open true, or this would be false and it should be true. And it's actually really useful to take a look into what was happening throughout the timeline, right? So for example, if I change the range here and I go to the very end of the test, that's where we actually open that modal window. Where is it? Here it is. And we take a look into this component, we'll see is open false. Is this actually, oh wait, I want to go here. How do I, oh wait, this is the comment. Let's go over here. And I would expect this modal to be is open false, is open true, that should be. Okay, but this thing also didn't refresh. Like I'm a little bit confused by this. Oh wait, okay, I think I have. I need to like refresh this somehow. Now I can see that this modal has the open is open set to true. I can see 5 subscription items because before there were only 4, so it was taking the state from the previous test. And then I also have a child component which is the close button. And as I go through this, you can actually see that we have a pairing between the React component and the exact thing the exact component in the DOM. So this is almost like the elements panel, but it's actually not the elements panel, it's the React component panel, which is really cool. All right, let's so my point was that sometimes there are things that are in the application, they're sort of hidden, but they can create bugs. I had experience with when I was creating my own application for my workshop, that I would get like to these weird states when I would tick a checkbox and then do something with that element, and the checkbox would get unticked, and stuff like that. These really weird bugs that are creating problems with the state. So this is where replay can be like really helpful, because you can get a look into that state and actually see it change in time and take a look into like, okay, what's actually happening while this bug is happening here. So yeah, but what I wanted to do also is to show you this panel. So right now I don't really have anything here, but I can have something here. I can have a whole source code. So for example, let's take a look at that modal component. So here we have the TSX file, and this is like the modal TSX. This is the modal that's over here. So it has a certain properties like is open. There is a function on close, so what should happen when we close that, and there are some children, so we can actually pass some children into that, and those children would usually be, I think, if I remember correctly, that would be the data. So this component is a function, it takes a certain properties, and then what we get in return is the elements, right? The DOM elements that create this component. Now, usually what we would do if we were debugging the application, for example, in like VS Code, then we would run this code, maybe add some console log in here, and then run it again to see what's actually happening. Now with replay, as we have created the recording, we can add a console log into this. So we have captured the application, and now we can just add a console log and print statements anywhere, and that's pretty neat. So let's take a look, for example, at this is open. So when I take a look at this is open and hit check mark, in the console I can see like the progression of how many times this was actually called and how many whether the modal is visible or not. So let me filter just this modal, and we have only the console logs for this modal TSX. Now in here, the console is actually interactive, so I can rewind or go forward to any point. So if I rewind over here, I'm at the false state, so the modal is not opened. If I fast forward to this true state, I think I need to go one more, or even one more. I don't know. React is a little weird because you can see that we have a bunch of these true statements. There are like 4 of them, and some of them like really do nothing, right? And I've seen this quite a lot. I think it's like a thing with use effect and stuff like that, that just things get called twice for some reason. So I don't know enough about React to like understand why that is, but it is something that is happening. So that's why we see a lot of this stuff. But what I wanted to point out is that we can see this state, this variable sort of changing in time as we went throughout our test. So if I go to the false state, I can see that's over here. If I go to the true state, I can see that the is open is true, and our component is here. And yeah, indeed, it is really cool, and it is really useful for devs too. So for example, if you have a workflow where testers do their work mostly manually, and they're like really good in diving deep into the application and finding different edge cases and bugs and stuff like that. You've probably been in a situation where you would send that to a developer, you would create your amazing bug report, you would send that to developer, and they would like close it like, oh sorry, could not replicate, moving it to backlog. And you were hoping that the bug that you were hunting for weeks now would finally get fixed, and it does not. So that's quite frustrating. I don't know about you, but I have been through that quite a lot, and it has been frustrating. What's really frustrating is that my mic is cutting for like 5 seconds every 7 to 10 minutes. That's awful. I don't know what to do with that. I'm trying to do everything I can with my connection and everything. I'm actually hardwired to the Ethernet cable, and I still get these issues. I don't know why. Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully it'll get better. But yeah, back to the bug report, right? So you can have a workflow where you would record your bug manually, and then send it over to developers, and they can do this deep dive and take a look into what's going on. Even with tests, right? Sometimes we have like this division between QA teams and developer teams, and then you as the QA team or the test automation team will create tests, and you see that there is something wrong with the application, right? That it's actually not the problem of the test itself, and we say the test is flaky, but the test is not flaky. It's actually the application that's flaky, and this kind of flow, this kind of workflow where you record everything as your test goes can be really helpful in getting testers and developers like closer together and actually examine together what's happening in the app and what's actually going on, not only in the test but in the application. Because if you have a flaky app, you'll have a flaky test. That's just the way it is. So yeah. All right. So I've been going on like through this console and moving back and forth with this state. But as I click through this, you can actually see maybe on this side that the number is changing. So we have like a couple of ways of moving through the instances of that is open being initiated, and we can move back and forwards and see the application changing. So we actually have like all of our tests, all the 3 attempts that we've been doing in our tests sort of captured, and we can see what was happening with this particular variable. Now we can actually add a couple of those, right? So for example, let's say we add this on close, right? We have another one. So let's do on close. Save that one. And wait. Oh, that's actually a function. Can I call this? I honestly don't know. Like I'm playing with this. No, that doesn't make sense, I guess. Let's add something else. I have children here. Can I console log out children? Maybe I can. Oh, cool. So here I have the children properties, and so I have like props, children, class name. All right, this is like complicated stuff. I don't know what exactly is here, because I think the children elements are actually like children elements of the model, so we can so that would be like these attributes, name, active, and the green text, etc. So that's probably it. Let's maybe change this. Like we have like is open, but we can. I think we could do something like this. If it's open, model is opened, and then model is closed. Yeah, something like that. So model is open, model is closed. So this works like a console log, right? And we actually log out stuff to the console. So the way we do that, it can be actually done in many different ways. So in here, what I chose is like is open, model is closed. I think there's another way. I think there's like a conditional. Yeah, so there's a conditional. So is open. So if it's opened, I'm going to say model is opened. And now I'm just looking at the opened state. So this is pretty great, because I can now just filter out the part of things that I'm interested in. Yeah, that's nice. Let's take it. Oh, I can add a color. That's also nice. So if you have like multiple different logs, you can distinguish between them with the color. All right, let's maybe take a look at some other components. So we have like the item, subscription item, that's over here, and it might be kind of cool to take a look at the UIDs, because usually that's the thing you don't really see. So maybe we could add a console log somewhere over here, and let's do subscription. Let's see what jumps out in the console. Nothing. Oh, I filtered out just the modal, so that's why I don't see anything. All right, so subscription item, and let's do subscription ID. All right, so now I can see like all of the IDs that were used in my test. So, which is really useful, because we started again with like the situation where we would work with data we don't really have in control of, and now we can jump into UID and maybe take a look into the database whether that particular ID is actually flawed, it doesn't really work, the subscription is faulty, or something is not working properly. So that's something useful. Also, if we want to have like multiple information, I think I can do something like let's do ID, that's going to be subscription ID, and then let's do name, and let's do subscription full name. So I can like console log out a object, right? So now I will have just the things I'm interested in. I'm interested in the ID and name, and I don't really see the email. So that's like the partial logging out of information. So yeah, that's kind of nice. Let's give it a green color, and I don't know what else. Yeah. Oh, also this modal windows that are popping up are kind of nice, because as I examine a certain endpoint component, I can take a look into like all of the data that's in here. Actually, I like those conditionals, so let's add a conditional. So if subscription status is active, let's just print those out. So I can now print only the instances of the active subscriptions. So wait. Oh, I guess it's oops, it's not a capital A, but lowercase. Yeah, here we go. So now I only have active subscriptions, and I can examine those. So that's pretty neat. Like right now we're not really like examining only the test, but we're digging into the React application, into what's actually happening here. I'm just playing around to show you like what this can do, and learning along the way, because I also need to learn about this. And these are some of the parts that I have already used. Now with the test flakiness in mind, where we have like a failed and successful attempt, like this one is pretty easy to debug. Like we don't really even need replay for that to like tell what's wrong with this test. But there are situations where it's like less certain, especially with cases where you would have like lost your focus while you're typing, or you click on something and nothing happened. If you only have DOM snapshots in this kind of situations, you only see the result, right? You only see what actually happened when you interacted with the application, but you don't really see what was happening under the hood. And most of the time, that information is actually like the most problematic one. So yeah. So obviously, in this case, we're targeting EQ6. And if we just jump into this command and look at the state of our application, we can see that, all right, EQ6, there's nothing like here, nothing like this in here, because we're not, we don't really have 7 items, we only have 4. If we go to the next attempt, again, EQ4, we only see 4 items. EQ4 actually means 5th item, so that's again something that's not going to work. So these are maybe like the easier ones to get, but if you were debugging Cypress test, you probably have been in situations where it's like really hard to tell what exactly is going on. All right, I think it's time to wrap up. Didn't want to do this for a very long time, just to do a quick overview, and I'll be doing this hopefully more often in random times. So be sure to like subscribe, and you'll get notified whenever I'm online. And of course, like everything is recorded, so if you don't watch it live and say hello, you can say hello afterwards and watch the recording. All right. Thanks everyone who joined. Thanks Lucas and Jalpesh for talking to me. It's been nice knowing I'm not alone here. And yeah, see you next time. Bye everyone.